absolutely screaming. See, I've been laughing for the last 5.5 minutes. This guy at the plate, this umpire at the plate, I got to take a picture of this. I mean, he jumps midair to call Danny Dickinson safe. I mean, brother. I mean, he's up on his feet. I mean, what a way to call. I've been on these umpires' ass this week, whether it be on this show. We started off with Ruffino's rants on Monday talking about how umpiring in the SEC was complete trash, only for you to rule Arkansas on a Saturday in Baton Rouge after losing the series to A&M, who just lost 2 games back-to-back to Missouri, who hadn't won a game in the SEC all year, for that guy to look like a fairy. I mean, this dude, that was the most dramatic safe call I think I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, I'm posting this on Twitter right now. I mean, there's no way that y'all didn't see this. This was incredible. I can't believe we're leaving the show off like this, but it was absolutely hilarious. Nevertheless, we're live. This is the postgame show for your LSU Tigers. LSU takes down Arkansas 11-3, wins the series versus Arkansas. And guys, quite frankly, it is looking as if that you are either you already have or you're still inching, because, look, you got another series. You can't go out there and get swept against South Carolina next weekend. I get that, right? But, man, tonight's game feels as if that you might have assured yourself a top 8 national seed in hosting a regional in Baton Rouge, which will be chaotic. You get the right matchup, guys. Things and stars are starting to really align for you and this team. A lot of you came in here Monday. Blake, we were complete ass. We ain't beating Arkansas, who just swept Texas. And I came in here and said, I think you're taking 2 out of 3. Now you can go for a chance to sweep tomorrow against a top 10 team at home. I don't know if you completely locked yourself down in the top 8 seed, but my God, you're getting close. My God, you're getting close. You just don't this team, it's a different team when you're at home. It's a different Drake Brown when you're at home. And quite frankly, you're a different team when you don't see left-handed pitchers. Let's call it what it is. Call it what it is. But this is fantastic, man. Listen, welcome to SEC baseball. Welcome to SEC baseball. I mean, it is when they talk about gauntlets, in the SEC, or when they talk about gauntlets in sports, okay, the SEC is one of them when it comes to baseball. I don't think that there's a deeper division in all of sports than SEC baseball. I just don't think it exists. I really, really don't think it exists. So you have that. Let's get to the game. Before we get to the super chat here, too, by our good friend Peyton Gates. My man was right there for me when I said I needed a link tonight. Didn't want to spend the money on Mother's Day weekend for the UFC. I might be in there with some of the streams with y'all. We gotta calm down on that. But let's pay some bills before we get moving here. Every postgame is brought to you by our good friends over at betonline.ag. Guys, use that promo code BELIEVE50. That's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive 50% off your welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, where the game starts. And our good friends over at Service Hawk Digital Media, with the right leads, smart systems, with real growth. No marketing system and no marketing team will work better for you than our good friends over at Service Hawk Digital Marketing. Get over to servicehawk.io today. If you run a business, if you're in sales, you need those leads, get over to Service Hawk Digital Media today and let them run that for you. And our good friends over at Grand Slam Heating and Air. Guys, get over to getgrandslamair.com. Summer is fast approaching. You know that those ACs will go out on you quick, fast, and in a minute. This is what you need to do. An $18 tune-up from our good friends over at Grand Slam Heating and Air. Let them come check it out, guys. Use the special. $18 for them to come to your home and do a tune-up for you today. That's getgrandslamair.com. Give them a call. Let them know that your good friend Blake Ruffino over at AYS sent you on by. I am going to do it. So if you're in the general area and you have a home, I'm going to be calling them this week. Like, hey, man, really need a service. I'm calling this week. I'm going to put, look, summer's fast approaching. I do not want my AC going out. That is for damn sure. But one thing I know for sure is that I'm going to be calling this week. You need to do that as well. Before we get to the game as well, everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share to all those groups. If you're on Facebook and to all those social media pages, you're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell, wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. I see a couple of super chats in here already. We have, I think, 3 of them in here. So let's get to a couple of them. Peyton Gates with a $10 super chat says, so is it time to have a conversation about Ianson, Bean, or Ace? Anyways, we might have the best 1-2 punch in the country. If we don't face a lefty, we are really damn good. I think that since Cade Anderson's injury last night was a cramp and that he is going to be fine, considering that you have 2 pitchers that are in the top 5 in the country in strikeouts, and the way that Anthony Ianson, who, guys, quite frankly, started off rough to start the season, has really found his own. I mean, guys, you might have one of the best 1-2 punches in the SEC. You might have one of the best 1-2 punches in all of the country. They have been absolutely phenomenal. Guys, absolutely, positively, 1,000% phenomenal. I'm not going to compare Anthony Ianson and Cade Anderson because I think it's disingenuous to both of them. But, man, both of them have been absolutely shoving. It has been highly impressive. And listen, a lot of you did not like Nate Yeskie. A lot of you did not like him. And because you can't deny what Nate Yeskie's done. You just can't simply deny it. Now, I know that some of you want to talk about like bullpen arms and what happened probably there at the end, and I get that. And that's something that we can discuss. But, guys, you got Case and Evans that can go for you tomorrow at home. I mean, the kid probably going to get his 3rd start here. I mean, guys, quite frankly, if I'm just being honest, and I mean this, right now, no one in the SEC, Texas included because of injury, no one has a better 1-2-3 than you, if we're being honest, if you're going to leave Evans in that role. But, man, you've done some really good things, brother. You've done some really good things. I mean, to hold this offense down to the way that you did. And listen, it would have been – I was thinking about this during the game to Peyton's comment. I would have been absolutely stunned, and I mean this, absolutely stunned if we held them to no runs. Guys, that is a top offense in the country. I mean, the simple fact that you only held them to 3 tonight in 7 innings is impressive as shit. I mean, even you felt like that they would respond at some point, and they did, and then you still walked it off. Tonight was your night. But you have arguably one of the most electric freshmen in the country going for you tomorrow. So do I think you could say that you have one of the best top 2s in back-to-back with Anderson and with Ianson? For sure. It's gonna be hard-pressed for me to find anyone that could say that you don't have a best 1-2-3 if Evans will stay in that role. And I'm sure that he will flip-flop depending on what happens. Because if you're in a close game tonight, guys, he's coming in. I mean, Jay's already made it well known, right? Like, Jay's already kind of pretty much classified that if, like, you're in a close game on a Saturday in game 2 and you're trying to take the series or you're just trying to win a game, he's coming in. You just haven't been in those situations, right? Like, you haven't necessarily been in those spots. So, going to be interesting. Cody McGee says, good day for Louisiana. LSU wins big. Derek Carr retiring. Good day to be LSU and Saints fan. Very true. We'll get to Derek Carr at the very, very end here. Don't act like I forgot about it. But I didn't put it in the thing, but we'll talk LSU baseball for a long time before we get to Derek Carr. But yes, Cody with a $10 super chat, yes. And for all of those who don't care about midweek games, Southeastern Louisiana won the Southland Conference. tonight or today. So there's that. A team that you run ruled in the midweek just won a conference. Not a championship, which is conference, which is kind of crazy that auto bids. Have y'all ever thought about this? These G5 mid-major programs, they go based off of a tournament, right? So the entire season means jack shit, really, for any G5 program. Southeastern can win the tournament and not get in. I mean, they can win the regular season, not win the tournament, and not get in. That's insane, if you think about it. Ricky Bertrand with a $2 super chat says Jake Brown needs to be in every game starter. I agree with that. I 1,000% agree with that. I mean, he's absolutely tattooing the baseball right now. He is seeing it very flush. Frank Castle with a $10 super chat says, grab your brooms, Blake. The witches might be flying this weekend. When I get that feeling, crazy things happen. Yeah, man, what a hell of a way you could end this. If you did sweep them, it will be tough. They're going to come out wanting to respond. It will be tough. Man, if you could do that, that would be insane. Then you go into South Carolina, and if you take that series from them, things get really interesting about you winning the SEC regular season title. Because, look, Texas won today against Florida. They're in a rubber match there. If Texas loses another series, things get very interesting. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to win it, but things can get very interesting here down the stretch. But control the controllables, Frank. We talked about it on Thursday. All that LSU needs to do to be that team at the end is do what you do. Control your controllables. You know, like what comes to my mind before we get to the game here and we talk about it, what comes to mind is where's the Stanfield sack fly? What inning was that in? Trying to think. Might have been earlier in the game. Yeah, bottom of the fifth. You have a walk, a line drive into the 5-6 hole by Aaron Beatty. A wild pitch advances Braswell and Aaron Beatty to third and second. And then the sack fly RBI, but it's where he hit it, it's how he hit it, and on the count that he hit it on. All Stanfield went up there to do is to take the ball the other way. Guys, quite frankly, when have you seen Chris Stanfield take a ball the other way in the air this year? Now, I'm not saying that I've watched every single pitch and have been locked in for every single pitch the entire season, but we've done a lot of these post games. We tweet damn near everything about every single inning. It's been very in between, far and few between, that we have not been pitch in, pitch out with you in this season. I don't know if I remember a situation. So to talk about what I'm saying with Frank about LSU just controlled the controllables, and all you need to do right now is control what you can control. I've never seen Chris Stanfield in an LSU uniform hit a sack fly RBI into right field. Haven't seen it. Has it happened? Maybe I misremember a situation. It's been a long season so far. He is a guy that wants to pull the baseball a lot. Good for him. A lot of his doubles come down that left field line. He's got quick hands. He did exactly what he needed to do there. So, yeah, Frank, if you get your brooms out tomorrow, I mean, it would be a hell of a way. If you do sweep them, guys, I feel very confident. Unless you get swept next weekend by South Carolina, and I just don't see that happening. You still got to go up there and take it to them. And listen, before any of you say anything, guys, and I know that this, like I'm going to say this, and a lot of you are going to say, Blake, it's not the same. But listen, winning games on the road, no matter where you go in this league, is tough as shit. If Paul Mainieri next weekend can find a way to, if you're in the hunt for the regular season SEC title, and if Paul Mainieri can find a way to make sure that Jay Johnson and company does not get that accomplished, he will do it. The petty shit that he allowed last weekend against Kevin O'Sullivan and some of the things that he allowed happen in that series, for an example. I mean, like, I'm sure that he was getting back at Sully in reference to that, the national championship in 2017. It's how Paul works, man. He is as evil as they come, and good on him. I mean, it's not his job to make you have an advantage. He will do everything possible. And I will say this, it is not comparable. I get what I'm about to say. You can't walk into a series in this league thinking that you're automatically going to win that thing. Guys, Missouri just taught everybody in the SEC a lesson today. And they really taught everybody in the SEC a lesson this weekend. Guys, they won their first 2 games against A&M. Guys, regardless of what you think of A&M, their record and everything going on, there's no reason that Missouri should have beat them. And quite frankly, they just beat you. They just beat you. Missouri just did something that you could not do, go into Blue Bill and take a series. So before you think any of that, before we get, we step a little bit too far, guys, a winless team in the SEC, a winless team in football doesn't do what just happened when you're as bad as they are. Now, they got some good players, and I'm happy for Keurig that he went into A&M and he got the series dub. God forbid they sweep tomorrow. God forbid. We're going to see how that A&M team really reacts. So we'll see. It's a long way to get what we needed to get to. But listen, man, that ain't for me. That ain't for me. All right, last one, then we're going to talk about the game. Landon says, Blake, you got any inside info on Anderson? No, everything coming out of Baton Rouge and coming out of everywhere from baseball is that it was a cramp. Was it really a cramp? That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. Let me say this. Let me say this in reference to Anderson and Ianson. Guys, you pull Anthony Ianson in the 6th inning, and we'll get there, but just a little preface. Guys, last night you let a guy go over 100 pitches, and he had a cramp. You're up 12. Pull him. I mean, you walked it off anyway. So what? You had to do it a more difficult way. You still walked him off. So who cares? Who cares? Let him get some rest. And by the way, it's a short week. I mean, he's going to have to go on Friday next week. It's a short week. Everybody's Thursday, Friday, Saturday next week. So I don't care that he got pulled. The outcome of you ruling them in 7 innings didn't change anything, and some guys got some work. All right, let's get to the game here. Top of the first, Anthony Ianson comes out and gets Davalon, Oloy, and Maxwell 1, 2, 3. He gets a ground ball to himself, a strikeout to Oloy, who's had a tough weekend in Baton Rouge. And he gets Maxwell to ground out into the shortstop. Quick, very efficient 10-pitch inning. Bottom of the first, guys, I love it that when you come out in these games and you blow the doors wide open. It's what LSU has done in some of these situations, like Game 3 versus Tennessee, Game 2 versus Arkansas. When you're at home, man, sometimes you have these situations. And by the way, against a pitcher in Gabe Woods, who, yes, is kind of just coming back, but this isn't his first weekend. Guys, in the last 2 starts, as you heard Ben and Dave Neal talk about, has given up 1 run in 12 innings. You come out in the first inning, and you get a ground ball single in the 4-hole by Derek Curiel. And it just keeps going in line to what we talked about last night with Curiel. Guy just sees right-handed pitching better than anybody on the team, quite frankly. Doesn't have the power, but when you talk about putting the ball in play very hard, dude just absolutely does it. Then you get a strikeout from Jones. Dickinson would walk, and Jake Brown would start his absolutely majestic day when it comes to what he did in the first inning, a 3-run bomb into right field. Guys, I saw some of y'all in the chat earlier saying this. I fully agree with a lot of you in reference to this. The 3-run bomb, Jake Brown's got to be in the lineup every day. I know that you're trying to put Pearson in there, senior weekend, senior days this weekend or tomorrow. You'll do something on Mother's Day for senior weekend. Find a way to put him in the lineup tomorrow, right? Okay, on senior day. I get it, but man, I think you got your lineup. I mean, I don't, unless you want to go and you think that Josh Pearson hits better against lefties and you want to start him, then go ahead, which, by the way, Jake Brown's hitting 200 against left-handed pitching. I would understand it because Pearson is not. I think he's hitting like just north of 260 against left-handed pitching. With that being said, I would understand the logic if that's what you want to do. But Jake Brown's got to be in the lineup every day. You got to let him work through the left-handed pitching stuff too. You kind of got to let him work through it and let him get those reps. But the 3-run bomb at the bottom of the first, guys, curveball against Gabe Woods, who is a very, very good pitcher. He left a curveball, slider, whatever it was, over the heart of the plate, and Jake Brown absolutely tattooed it. You know, it's funny. I remember the end of the season last year. Remember when Jake Brown dropped the ball in the outfield? And a lot of us were like, bro, this guy needs to be benched, whatever. A lot of people got on Jake Brown wasn't it the last out in North Carolina, kind of prolonged things against North Carolina, to now you having a sophomore. That's a true freshman turning into a sophomore and just tattooing a baseball and doing exactly what he needs to do. Probably hasn't been the season that he exactly wants, but man, when Jake gets in these hot streaks, he is red hot. He is red hot. He's hotter than crab oil, man. I mean, I just remember the beginning of the season, which prompted him to be in the starting day lineup when in the little mini inter squad, the 3-game series before the season, him getting red hot. I think he went like 8 for 11 and went stupid. And guys, he at the end of the season here, man, weather heating up, feels great outside. He's absolutely tattooing the baseball. And look, it's not like the wind was really blowing out into right. I mean, the wind's blowing in. It's a north wind. So he's pushing that baseball against some resistance. Absolutely fantastic. Guys, that completely set the tone. I mean, you get a 3-run bomb in the first. I felt like the whole momentum from Arkansas was completely depleted. Completely depleted from start to finish. And so when you strike on teams first like that, it is a massive momentum killer. And for what it's worth, the very next pitch, you get a ground ball single into the 5-6 hole from Ethan Fry. You get a line drive by Stephen Milam to the second baseman. Guys, even in some of these ground ball, like, guys, the ball's hit very hard on the ground. You got a line drive to the second baseman. Hitting is contagious. Momentum is contagious. And Jake Brown set it off like his name was Boosie in the early 2000s. You can't, when this team is on, man, you got to give them credit. They will find it. The question has always been, can they find it? And Jake Brown set you up tonight with a majestic and, quite honestly, legendary performance here tonight. But as we mentioned, after Brown hit that home run, you get the ground ball single by Ethan Fry, a line out to second base by Stephen Milam, and the fielder's choice by Michael Braswell. The momentum would be continued to go on. So we talk about you getting a big spot in the first inning. When you come out to, not only when you get a big spot and you do what Anthony Ianson did, on 2 pitches he got a Lloyd to fly out to Cade Arrowbeatty. Then he gets Cozile and Iredale to strike out. So he gets his second and third strikeout. But that momentum, like when you're able to do what you did and then shut them down 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, boom. A lot like what he did last weekend, if we're being honest. You would see some momentum, boom, boom, boom. He's coming out 1, 2, 3, and he's knocking on the door. Where you at? Knock on wood if you're with me. Guys, that bottom of the first, top of the second, guys, that's when you put the laptop in or laptop down, you go get a gummy, you eat half of it, and you go, it's going to be a good night. Now, I'm not confirming or denying that that's what I did, but you just felt it. You could feel it then. You could feel it now. The electric and the atmosphere was fantastic too. But Anthony Ianson goes 6 up, 6 down through 2 innings. Absolutely fantastic. Bottom of the second, Cade Beatty, the freshman, finally coming through in a spot here, takes an outside fastball in the right center field for a home run. I think that kid's going to be special. You know, we don't talk about this freshman class enough. We don't talk about the number 1 overall class that Jay brought in here enough. Guys, William Schmidt is not a massive contributor for you right now and on these weekends. Guys, I have a feeling that this dude's going to be good. Cade Anderson didn't really have a massive impact for you until the end of the season his damn self. He got rocked in the SEC a year ago. Can guys like Rizzy, who had a big performance last weekend, couldn't find it this one? Guys, I think that he's going to be able to find it too, along with William Schmidt, who, guys, if you're going to win a national title, some of these freshmen are going to have to come up big. Guys, if you're going to go to Omaha, one of these guys are going to have to come up very big. You talk about Kason Evans, who will probably start tomorrow. Oh, by the way, Derek Curiel, John Pearson, and some of the things that he's done. Guys, that's when we talk about bringing in a number 1 overall class, you know, when we talk about recruiting, it's mainly about football, right? Like, we never come out here on this show and talk about like massive, long, prolonged conversations about recruiting, even though like LSU had a kid flip today, and I mean to SMU, he flipped today. Then the kid that went to Texas, LSU saying we want to see him camp. Guys, that's bullshit. You can read that on any message board. I will go source for source with anybody that covers this program. Listen to me good. I will go source for source with anybody in the program that the kid from Carr did, like they wanted him to camp, and that's why they didn't take him. That's bullshit. That it did not go down like that. That is a bona fide 1,000% lie. I will go toe-to-toe with anybody that covers this team. Anybody. That did not happen. Today, in reference to Ja'Kai Anderson, yeah. I mean, like, I don't. Yeah. Right? Like, yes. Hayward Howard was the kid. Thank you, Brandon. Hayward Howard is the young man from Carr. Guys, you wanted him. Again, we'll go with anybody. These narratives come out here about recruiting. Didn't happen. Back to baseball. Guys, that's what number 1 overall classes look like. I mean, that's what number 1 classes look like. Cade Beatty, didn't even bring him up. What's that young man going to look like? He's got the raw power, man. It's putting it all together for him, and he's another one. That class is loaded. Everybody's coming back too. What is a great all season for all of those guys? What does it look like for them too? So we'll see. Still bottom of the second, Chris Stanfield walks. Derek Curiel would strike out. Jones would line out to the third baseman. So Jones didn't have a massive night. The line drive to third base, did y'all hear Ben McDonald? 107 off the bat. I mean, you hit it right at him. Like, guys, for me, sometimes even when you don't get a base hit, when you hit a ball that hard right at somebody, I don't count it as a hit, but I count it as a strong AB. Okay? Like, didn't have a great day. Okay, don't really give a shit. You hit the ball hard there. Good for you. But you're definitely seeing Gabe Wood. Danny Dickinson would fly out into center field to end the bottom of the second. Anthony Einstein goes 9 up, 9 down to start the game. Top of the third, he gets Fralick on an E5. Excuse me. He didn't go 1, 2, 3. My handwriting's very bad. Excuse me. Top of the third, he didn't go 1, 2, 3. That would be the fourth. Top of the third, he gets an E5 on Braswell when Jay is at the mic and says, I hate doing these things because of that stuff. Jay's locked in. He wants to win a series, man, and a very crucial one. Jay's normally not that, like, shrewd, but I'm kind of glad we got to see the real Jay Johnson there, because Jay don't come out of his shell like that. He doesn't show his competitiveness like that often. I'm glad we saw it there. but Helfrich, would it be the E5 for Braswell? Braswell's had a tough weekend too, but he's staying in there. Nothing of concern for me with Brazzy. Robinette would walk. You get a strikeout from Thomas, so runners on first and second. You get a line drive single into the 6 hole that would not score a run. So you got bases loaded, and you have not arguably, guys, the guy that will likely win the Player of the Year in the SEC and Aloy up. Bases loaded, 1 out. Anthony Ianson gets his 5th strikeout of the night and K's him up. Beautiful slide piece on the outside too. That is what elite pitchers do, bro. I mean, should have gotten an out. He did give up a walk, but he gave up a strikeout, and he gave up his first hit of the night to leadoff guy with a lineup coming back up through the order. And it was into the 6 hole, and nobody scored. So if you got 2 outs there and you give up a single, like, guys, it's his first hit. You know, like, shit, that shit's going to happen. But he's got bases loaded. And the walk, look, we can say what we want to. You can't have it there. You can't have one negative thing happen and then respond with another negative. And that is what happened. But you do get those bases loaded, and the guy that will win Player of the Year in your conference comes up and you strike him out on 5 pitches to get your 5th K. Because Anthony Ianson, I put 3 stars next down to that one because that's where I think you won the game, if I'm being honest. Not saying Maxwell, their 3-hole hitter for Arkansas, is not very good. He is. Guys, that's the best player, arguably, per what some people believe. And if he's the SEC player, guys, people believe he's the best player in your conference. If that is the case, guys, that is more than just a massive play. That's a situation where it's a super regional type of situation there. That is an Omaha type of situation right there. There's not a lot of better players in the country that you will see. And Aloy's probably going to be a top 10 pick in this upcoming draft. I think he's somewhere in between 1 to 15. Wherever he goes, guys, you get a massive K right there against their best player with the bases loaded. Anthony Ianson delivers. He gets that momentum back and then does the same thing to Maxwell to get his 6th strikeout. So he's got 6 Ks through 3 innings with the bases loaded. You know, something we talked about a lot in the beginning of the season with Anthony something that we talked a lot in the beginning of the season about Ant was this. Even like against Nebraska early in the season, even early in the season in these SEC games where he kind of got touched a little bit, he never looks like that he gets rattled. Like, I feel like Anthony Ianson never seems to show a lot of emotion. The complete game last Saturday was the most emotion that we had seen out of him all year long. That is very rare from him. So when you look at that strikeout there and him, like, just being in that entire situation, you just felt like at least that he controls the controllables. He makes sure that he takes over and just does what he needs to do to make sure that we get out of a bad situation, and he gets himself out of a very bad situation because he did. Beautiful right there. I mean, that is a series-winning strikeout, if we're being all told. The same thing about Maxwell. Guys, regardless, that for me, that strikeout in the 3rd inning, putting the 3 stars next to it, I mean, that's where you win the game there. But I should have been able to read my writing about the 3rd. I thought he went 1, 2, 3. Should have not marked the line through. That's on me. You go to the bottom of the 3rd. Brown gets a home run into right field that hit off the Marucci building. Guys, he's destroying the baseball. Guys, at home, you can destroy the baseball. You are a different team in the box. Everybody's different when they're at home in this conference. One lesson that we need to be told. And look, we had this conversation on Monday. Guys, I don't care who in the shit you are. It is tough to win on the road in this league. Teams historically hit tons better at home. The simple fact you held A&M down the way that you did it, I mean, it's even more impressive the way that you did it. But Jake Brown, man, yes, I agree, he needs to be in the lineup every day. Seeing the ball very well. But truth be told, him getting his 2nd home run of the day. That's where legends are made of. Situations like Jake Brown's situation today is 100% where legends are made of. In 2 or 3 years, we'll be talking about Jake Brown like him in the minors or him trying to make a call up to the major leagues. We'll be talking about that situation and saying to ourselves, hey, man, Jake Brown was a dog. And you'll remember this game. Top of the third, hits a bomb. You strike out the best pitcher in the SEC or best hitter in the SEC. You strike him out with the bases loaded. You get another very dangerous hitter at the plate, Maxwell. You strike him out as well. The very first AB when you come back, you hit a bomb. So we talked about this earlier. You get the 3-run bomb by Jake Brown. Anthony Ianson delivers by shutting them down 1-2-3. Anthony Ianson gets out of a bases-loaded jam by striking out the player of the year in the SEC. The very first at-bat is Jake Brown, and you hit a bomb. That is how you seize momentum. It is just highly, highly impressive baseball. It's what national champions do. Now, this team has shown that they have their holes and issues. We've all seen it. We've all talked about it. We've all been here for it. But you've also got to take some of these situations like what you saw tonight in that third and start of the fourth or in the third inning, in the bottom of the third inning, because that is championship level stuff right there. That is how you seize situations. That's how you find yourself in Omaha. You got a long way to get there. You're not even done with the regular season yet. But if they find a way to get there, if they find a way to Nebraska, you look back at performances and situations where you put your foot down and says, we're here. And guys, damn, there's 1,900 of you in here. Earlier in the week, too, the hitting coach for Arkansas, the Arkansas media team, put out a video of the Arkansas hitting coach saying, guys, they got to go through us to get to the SEC championship regular season. It all goes through us. Well, Jake Brown said, no, big dog, that shit goes through me. So at the end of the show, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that video and I'm going to find it and say, no, this shit goes through Jake Brown. This series goes through Jake Brown. This shit goes through Cade Anderson and Anthony Ianson. You find yourself in big postseason situations, it's because of that. Now, I've been holding on to something. Actually, I'm going to hold on to it a little bit longer about your head coach. Jay is a top 3 head coach in the country. Top 3 head coach. And it never, the whole Orgeron thing that was so outlandish. Guys, this is why you don't make stupid fucking statements like that in baseball. This is not football. This is not football. Because guys, if you lose 10 SEC games in baseball and you win 20 of them, you're considered a bona fide number 1 overall team. And my God, if you sweep Arkansas tomorrow, maybe Florida State is the number 1 team, but you're probably going to be number 2. If you don't lead back up to number 1, which I've told you that these rankings mean absolutely nothing to me. The rankings in baseball mean nothing to me. As long as you're in the top 8, I could give a shit. I could give a shit. Be in the top 8. Blake Ruffino could give a damn. I could give a damn. Be in the top 8's all that I care about. You won the series in less than 3 at-bats. The Aloy, Maxwell, Brown, ABs in the third. Guys, and we're talking this whole postgame. We hadn't even got out of the third inning yet. We're 45 minutes into this, so we're not out of the third inning. The third inning is where you sealed the deal because they were done. They gave some fight at the end, but they were done. Jake Brown, what a legendary performance. What a legendary, legendary performance. Something I want to mention, too, in reference to that. You remember when you run ruled Tennessee? Remember when you run ruled Southeastern? Remember when you run ruled tonight? You can't use the argument anymore that LSU hasn't beat a dominant team. Because every one of you came in here talking about how Arkansas might be the most complete team in the country. Well, they can't be the most complete team in the country, and then you just whip their ass and you not say that LSU's not a part of that too. You can't do it. Doesn't exist. Does not exist. See, I'm just going to bring this one up. Bryant says, I had to listen to it all week here in Arkansas about the brothers are going to destroy our pitching. I am in Jasper, Arkansas. Well, Bryant, this is what you need to do. Now, the little brother of Loy hit a home run on you last night. Well, hey, Loy ain't done shit to you. I mean, he's gotten a hit. I mean, he hasn't done shit to you. I mean, Anthony Ianson dicked him down. Mega pause, but he did. He made him look foolish. All right. So Jake Brown homers. Ethan Fry would walk. Stephen Milam hits a line drive into center field. Braswell hits a fly out into center field. Fry would tag, but it wouldn't matter because Kate Aaron Beatty in the bottom of the third would strike out. Anthony Ianson would come in and give up a ground ball single into the 4-hole, but get a fielder's choice back to himself, and then get his 7th and 8th strikeouts on Iredale and Helfrich to get out of the 4th inning. Guys, two Ks per inning. Holy shit. Holy shit. This kid's dealing, man. This kid's absolutely dealing. Bottom of the 4th, Stanfield would hit a ball to the third baseman, but he would commit an error. You get an infield single through the 4-hole that the second baseman could not get the transfer in time from Derek Curiel. Bear Jones has a walk, so bases loaded, 1 out. Listen, I understand in the 4th inning, and I know some of you will nitpick some of this. You have the bases loaded with no outs. And you could have blown the game open right then. Guys, in those situations, the worst thing that you need to have happen is that you just get a run. The worst thing that can happen there is that you hit into a ground ball double play, that they make a part of the double play, them throwing it at home. You got to find a way to get a run. It's not what you want. You want to get a crooked number. I get that. You got to find a way to get a run. You could have blasted that game wide open then. But you get a fly out to the catcher from Danny Dickinson. Fisher comes in, a left-handed pitcher against Jake Brown, and he strikes out in 4 pitches. Ethan Fry gets an RBI walk. So you get 2 quick outs on 2 really bad ABs from Dickinson and Brown, and then Ethan Fry doing what Ethan Fry does. He's got to a full count. He fouled off some pitches in that AB, and he walks, and you get a run. If that's the worst thing that happened, I know that you want a crooked number there. But, guys, I'm not going to sit here on this show and start talking about spilled milk over you only getting a run there. You run rule a top 10 team in the country at your place, you're not going to hear me bitch about anything, really, because there's nothing to bitch about. If there's something you want to see there tonight at the plate, if there's one thing you want to talk about, that would be it, the negative. If you're a negative person, which a lot of people say that I am, they just don't listen to our baseball coverage then. Impressive. You get a run. Good. He worked a full count. He fouled off some pitches. He got the RBI. That's all that matters. Stephen Milam hits a fielder's choice to the third baseman. You get out of the inning. Anthony Ianson, man, 5th inning was chef's kiss. Got Robinette and Thomas to strike out to get his 9th and 10th Ks of the evening, and gets Davalon to line out to Derek Curiel to go 1, 2, 3 in the 5th. Insanity, dude. This kid is impressive. This kid is highly impressive, man. He just shuts teams down. Guys, one thing about Anthony Ianson that I thought just the entire game, I don't know why I'm now bringing this up in the 5th. Guys, when he's landing his curveball and his slider and his changeup, and when he very rarely throws it, guys, I don't know if he's not one of the toughest pitchers to hit in the entire country. Because, guys, when you're throwing your all-speed stuff for strikes, it's a lot what we talked about last week that I thought you needed to do against A&M, that you just couldn't get it going because the guys behind the plate were squeezing the shit out of you. When you're locating your off-speed stuff and you can mix and match and you can do different things, I wrote this down against Thomas, the 9-hole hitter. This was the pitch sequence. Slider, fastball, changeup, slider, strikeout. Because he threw one ball in the at-bat. The other one was fouled. The other strike was fouled off. I mean, that is insane, man. The fastball gets fouled off, and he's breaking him off with a slide piece. Good for him. When that shit is landing for Anthony Ianson with that hook, guys, fishermen have not caught more fish than the hook. They need to go to Anthony Ianson for their hook. I mean, good Lord. That shit is nasty. That shit is nasty, dude. That strikeout to Thomas was insane. He made him look bad. He made him look lost. Very lost. And why wouldn't everybody would be lost? It's not me putting down on Thomas. Everybody would look lost. Bottom of the fifth. This is where you would blow things wide open. Michael Braswell would walk to lead off the inning. 5 straight innings where you get the leadoff hitter on. Kate Aaron Beatty would hit a line drive into the 5-6 hole for a single. You would have a pass ball, and what was a highlight of the night for me, too, that will be missed, is Chris Tanfield gets to a 1-2 count and hits a sac fly RBI into right field. Guys, complimentary baseball will win you a lot of games. Guys, we have seen teams, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and not really the national champions with you and Tennessee, but even you and Tennessee. Because a lot of times when you just played fundamental baseball, you got a lot of wins. Like Tennessee and LSU powered their way through. But when you look at Miss State and you look at Ole Miss and you remember those natties, they did start hitting the ball a ton. But a lot of times, man, they've played a lot of situational baseball and benefited off of it. I said this earlier. It begs repeating. Chris Stanfield, man, I mean, he just doesn't take a lot of pitches the opposite way. Talk about doing a job. Guys, that is A++ stuff. Wild pitch, goes to the backstop, runners advance, you're in a 1-2 count, and you hit the ball the other way, and both runners tag up. That is beautiful shit, man. Beautiful shit. Danny Dickinson last night, as an example. You know, Jay mentioned this when we were live. Jay did they posted Jay's magic moment that they do after every win. I had not seen it, and I'm so glad that Danny Dickinson brought this up. That Jay brought this up about Danny Dickinson. The ground ball to the first baseman, the AB before the fry walk-off. Because you got a runner on second and Bear Jones who just hit the double. Get a ball on the ground to the right side. That is just doing your job. That is doing exactly what you need to do. Tonight, you're in a situation where, you're hitting the ball. Jake Brown's hitting the ball all over the place. Kate Aaron Beatty gets in on the action and hits a home run. It's stuff like that when you got a runner on second and third and you have no outs and you hit the ball the other way to get a run in. That is how you win shit. That is what elite teams do. I'm sorry, but it is. You have 2 games where guys are doing the right and doing the right fundamental thing. Because if you have a runner on second and third with no outs or even 1 out, the only thing that you're trying to do is either get the ball on the ground to the right side or get the ball in the air to the right side deep enough to get that run home. That is the only goal that you have. Now, I know that you want to do what everybody else does and get a base hit and get both of those runs in. Everybody wants to do that. But your thought process, your goal has got to be one of the 2 things. Whatever it is you do it. And I thought that was a beautiful AB there by Chris Stanfield. So runner on third, Derek Curiel would walk. McGuire would come in and for relief for Fisher. He would get Jones to walk. He would get Jones to walk out coming out of the pen. You get an RBI fielder's choice by Danny Dickinson, where Cozell, who had a bad night defensively, struggled a little bit defensively. What might have been a double play ball, but a bad hop to the third baseman makes it a little bit tough of a relay. and Danny Dickinson gets an RBI on the fielder's choice. Put the ball in play, good things will happen. Jake Brown with a ground ball single right back up the middle that would get him another RBI. So he's got 5 RBIs on the night. There's Jake Brown. And then Ethan Fry with a 3-run bomb into right field that would seal this thing for you. And Ethan Fry, listen, I was wrong about the kid. I have no problems at all if any of you listen to this show. Guys, I will be right on things. It is very wrong when we're wrong. Very, very light when we're wrong. It doesn't happen often. But I tell you, when we get shit wrong, I will admit when we get shit wrong. Beginning of the season, I did not like the Ethan at Fry ABs at all. Guys, he has proved me wrong. He has shoved me in a locker, and he's told me to shut the fuck up. That is the bottom line. Good on him. I did not like the ABs. The kid is the best hitter that you have right now, overall. Right now, he's destroying the baseball. I didn't like it. I thought that you might need to find something else. And that is why Jay, for what it's worth, so did Jay think that too. Because there was a lot of times that they were flip-flopping the DH role, and Ethan Fry says, get over here, like it's Mortal Kombat, and he's Scorpion. Get over here. I was wrong. Good on him. I love that I'm wrong. When I have a take like that and a take like that, I'm glad that I get proven wrong. Good on him. He homered last night. He homered again tonight. Both of them going into right field. Kid's seeing it, dude. Kid's absolutely seeing it. There's no other way around it. He is your best overall hitter right now. So you get a bases loaded situation where you only get a run the inning before. You get into the 5th, and you absolutely explode. You absolutely explode. Milam would strike out looking to end that inning. But, man, Ethan Fry, dude's absolutely killing the baseball. We'll run through the 6th and 7th pretty quickly. The 6th inning was a little tougher, I guess, for Anthony Ianson than what he was accustomed to, going 1, 2, 3. But gets a fly out. He gets a line drive single into the 4-hole. He gets a fly out on the Alloy brothers. He got both of the Alloy brothers to fly out, one to center, one to Stephen Milam. Cozell would walk, and then he'd get his 11th K of the inning and end his night 6 innings. 6 innings, no runs. 9 innings the weekend before, no runs. Dude is dealing, bro. 15 innings and no runs. Or no, he gave up the home run last weekend, to A&M. He did. And now I'm thinking about it. 15 innings, 1 run on the bomb that he gave up last weekend. And so we can learn the lesson too. Anthony Ianson all season last year only gave up 3 home runs. Guys, he's been in the SEC and he's only given up 3 home runs. Something about those portal players coming from smaller schools. Look, man, the way that Anthony's ending this season, I don't know if he hadn't worked his way into being a first-round pick. That's not my forte. I'm not a draft guy for baseball. I'll ask, though. That kid's been locking shit down. He's been highly impressive. I don't know the adjectives, and I don't really have the words, really. I don't really have the words for Anthony Ianson. I don't know what to say. He got rocked early in the year, and guys, he hit SEC play, and he started shoving. There were conversations about Anthony Ianson, and there were some on this show that, man, look, you get another start like that, I don't know what you do. He's told everybody to shut up. The kid's been just shoving. Again, we started the show off like this. You might have the best 1, 2, 3 in the country. It feels that way right now. And you're on 1. Guys, you would get a fly out in the 6th from Braswell. Aaron Beatty would get a ground ball single. He had a great night, did Cade Aaron Beatty. He had a 3-hit night tonight, did Cade Aaron Beatty. That kid keeps hitting like that, he's going to be fine. Beck would walk, Curio would fly out, and Jones would strike out. It's going to be interesting to see what Jay does tomorrow with Hernandez and Aaron Beatty. Guys, Cade Aaron Beatty had a 3-hit game. I don't know if you don't toss the young fellow back out there. I don't know if you toss the young man back out there. I mean, you have a 3-hit game. It's hard otherwise. Look, top of the 7th, you got in some trouble. You went to the pen. Maverick Rizzi gave up a double. He gave up another hit, a walk, a hit, RBI bloop into right field. Primo comes in, gives up an RBI single. The 7th inning's where they got 3 runs. Newt comes in, strikes out Aloy, but runners would advance, and then you give an RBI sac fly by Maxwell, and Aloy would ground out. The other Aloy brother would ground out to second base. Listen, on the whole thing with Anthony Ianson coming out of the game after 6 innings on 93 pitches, coming out of the game, guys, Cade Anderson really literally exited the game last night with a cramp in his wrist. Why in the hell, when you're up 12 runs, like if Anthony Ianson goes back out there in the 7th to finish it off, and God forbid, and knock on wood, something bad happens to him, and he gets hurt, or something crazy happens, line drive right back up the middle, hits him in the foot, like he breaks a toe. So many stupid shit could happen. And you say, like, if this were a 1-run game, if this were a 0-0 scoreless game, clearly you get not pulling him on 90-something pitches. Guys, you're up 12 runs. Who really gives a shit? I get if you don't, like, if you're not able to find it in the 7th and get the run rule, and you got to pitch another inning and go back out there another inning, I get you would have been, you're second guessing yourself. And I'm sure Jake probably second guessed himself in the moment because he looked really pissed off having to go back onto the mound because Rizzi couldn't finish it. I get it, but man, I got to be real with y'all. I really don't give a shit about it. You know what I mean? Like, what would the conversation have been? Let me ask all of y'all. What would the conversation have been if he runs out there for the 7th and God forbid something, knock on wood, something bad happens? You know what I mean? Like, we would have been pissed off to hell. Now, I want to mention this because this just got tweeted out. I want to read it as well. From Todd Politz, says that Jay Johnson coached his 250th game for LSU baseball on Saturday. His record is exactly the same as Skip Berkman in his first 250 games, 177, 73, and now tied for the best in program history. So remember when there was that stupid sumbitch that came out here and compared him to Ed Orgeron? Boy. Now, you could say, well, Skip had a bigger rebuild, and that is truthful. That is truthful. Stephen Fry, our good friend over at Fry Construction, they're out there in Eunice, Louisiana. You can give them a call today. Here they are. At 337-457-5100. Site work and land development, oil and gas services, commercial construction, aggregate and soil hauling, waste containers, demolition. They're out there in Eunice, Louisiana. Let them know that Blake Ruffino sent you on by. But Stephen Fry says Jay would never hear the end of it from this fan base, and nor should he. If he runs his ass out there, Stephen, like he should hear it. He should hear it. You know what I mean? But I just don't care that he got pulled there, especially when last night that shit happened. So, yeah. Alex with a $10 super chat says, I know it's been mentioned, but Ianson has been elite and wanted to give the young man more recognition. So, Alex, he has been elite. The last 15 innings, I mean, it has been elite. There's no borderline elite. There's no. The kid has been outstanding. I thought his start against Tennessee, when I was there to watch him firsthand, I thought it was insane. I thought it was really good. I mean, it gave up some hits here and there, but then he turns around and does what he does against A&M. Then he turns around and does when you needed a critical win. And then tonight, man, he just absolutely shoved it down Arkansas's throat. And guys, that's a hell of a lineup. Like what he just did against that lineup is insane. They're a great team. Guys, Arkansas is not a good team. Arkansas is a great team. They're a great program under Dave Van Horn. They're a great program. And quite frankly, Anthony Ianson, he's got to carry his stuff around in a wheelbarrow, massive pause, but it's true. I mean, he's shown up. And look, I think it's kind of overshadowed Cade Anderson's performances the last 2 weekends too, which Cade Anderson is, I mean, he gave up a couple of home runs last night, okay? But even him, man, I mean, Cade Anderson has 6 starts this year where he's got 10-plus strikeouts or more. Anthony Ianson's just had his 5th. 5. Dude, that's insane. And I'm sure Paul's Hub, is Paul's Hub in the chat? If Paul's Hub's in the chat, what was that, like his 9th start, 10th start of the season? So half of the times that he's been starting this season? So, yeah. Father Abear says, Milam, what, baby? You gotta be quiet. Put yourself down. Daddy's on the show. Come here. Come on. All right. Come on. Daddy's on his show. Daddy's on his show. You can't be banging on the door. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi. Wave. Tell everybody hi. What's your name?
Joe Patty.
Joe Patty. How old are you, Joe Patty? You drop Lovey? All right. Now listen. Daddy's got to finish work. Okay. If you need some more water, you got to go tell mommy. Okay. Tell everybody bye.
Bye.
Say bye, everybody.
Bye.
All right. Come on. Yeah, you cheer for LSU all the time? Yeah. All right, here. Go ask mommy if you need water. Here. Go. Here. Go. Sorry for the very bad podcasting and talking there, but that is Baby Joel. For all those wondering, that is my youngest daughter, Baby Joel. That is Baby Joel. You know what's funny? We have not been bringing our kids for personal reasons that me and my wife will not disclose. We have not been allowing our children to come on here after some of the crazy shit that's been flying out there. But that is Baby Joel. They do grow up fast. So, yes. But that is our sweet Baby Joel. She's a daddy's girl, man. Ben is a mama's boy, and she is a daddy's girl. That is for sure. I don't even know where we finished here. I don't know. I don't know what we were talking about. Doesn't even matter. Let's wrap up with this. So, before we wrap up this, I know some of you will leave for this conversation, and I'm sorry. But the Derek Carr era in New Orleans ended today as he announced his retirement with the New Orleans Saints. Here's what I'd say. Thank God he saved them. What was it? $30 million. They'll have now around 50+ million in salary cap money to work with. Him retired is a big deal for New Orleans. It also signifies that you turn the page, and it was learned today that Kellen Moore and Derek Carr didn't even talk. You know, it's funny. I really wanted to go back to the video that we posted when Kellen Moore was hired and he had a press conference And we talked about his press conference. I really wanted to go back on Twitter and Facebook and share the clip segment that we had. Dude, we literally spent 20 minutes on me saying that there's no way that Kellen Moore is going to tie his head coaching career to Derek Carr. It was never going to happen. It comes out today that they never spoke. And when you have an offensive-minded guy, a guy in Derek Carr coming to the end of his career literally after this injury, I mean, guys, it was always the writing on the wall. We spent 20 minutes talking about that. I thank Derek Carr for his service. He was just not for this place, man. You got to be a special human being. And I don't think it's fair to Derek for him to be the quarterback that you paid that amount of money to, really being solidified as the quarterback coming behind Drew Brees. It was never fair to him. But, man, he dug himself a massive hole by some of the shit that he said at the podium. And as much as I love LSU and I talk LSU on this show nightly more than any other team, any other sport, any other thing, does not mean that I do not keep up with the Saints ad nauseum. I love them. I want them to have success. But I've told you, like, I am not going to waste my time on an organization that I don't think really and truthfully, at least sometimes, that they show that they don't care. I think coming to this agreement with Derek Carr and him retiring is a massive deal for you and turning the page. Let's see what happens. It's Tyler Shuck time now, though. It's Tyler Shuck time now. You're going to run that rookie out there, and you're for better or for worse. For better or for worse, that's what you're going to do. All right, any other super chats in here? No? All right. We're out of here. Game 3 tomorrow. Let's go for a sweep on Mother's Day. Was it 3 p.m. tomorrow on Mother's Day? Wear the pink tomorrow. Go all for mama. Hit home runs for mama tomorrow. That's what we need to do. We'll see y'all tomorrow, man. Y'all have a good night. Peace.